His name evokes terror, and his actions send shivers down the spine. Even the bravest hearts, we speak of García Álvarez, the man who became a living legend, known as the Craftman, the scourge of Central America. But behind his mask of cruelty and cunning lies an intriguing and mysterious story that has perplexed all those who dare to explore it. From the day of his funeral, shrouded in an aura of mystery and strife, to the tears of the gang members who once swore allegiance to him, and the hidden celebrations of the police officers who celebrated his downfall. Discover the hidden secrets behind the myth of the Craftman as we unravel the mysteries of his past and delve into the depths of his troubled soul. Prepare for a suspenseful journey of betrayal and redemption. As we dive deeper into the mystery of his past, we explore the depths of his troubled soul. In the true story of the man who defied fate and became a legend, for better or worse. Join us until the end of the story and discover the truth hidden behind the mask of the Craftman. Before you begin, leave a registration with the like button and subscribe to our stories. They will surely catch your attention. Now, activate the bell to start. García Álvarez was born in a marginalized neighborhood where poverty and violence were the order of the day. From an early age, he displayed fierce determination and innate cunning that caught the attention of local gang leaders. Attracted by the promise of power and respect, he joined one of the city's most feared gangs, Barrio 18, where he quickly rose through the ranks thanks to his cruelty and cunning. Over time, García Álvarez became an undisputed leader, inspiring fear and loyalty in equal measure. His reputation as one of the bloodiest gang in Barrio 18 was cemented by a series of violent and ruthless acts that led him to clashes with rival gangs and attacks on local businesses to extort money. His name became synonymous with terror, and people avoided him at all costs, fearing they would become his next victim. But even in the shadows of violence, García Álvarez showed flashes of humanity. He once saved a girl from being hit by a car, risking his own life in the process. This act of bravery surprised many who could not reconcile the image of the ruthless gang member with the man who had shown compassion and altruism. However, these moments of humanity were rare and fleeting in García Álvarez's life. His power and control drove him to commit increasingly atrocious acts, defying the authorities and wreaking havoc in the city. But his reign of terror would come to an end when the police finally managed to capture him in a surprise raid at his home, where he lived surrounded by luxury and comfort. How his days in Barrio 18 began from a young age. García Álvarez had witnessed the violence and poverty that characterized his neighborhood, where the lack of opportunities and the constant presence of gangs led him down an uncertain path. The gang represented a family, a refuge amid adversity in an environment where traditional family structures were fractured. The gang offered a sense of belonging and camaraderie he hadn't experienced before. It was a place where he could be someone, where he could stand out and earn the respect of others, something he had always longed for in a world that seemed to have forgotten him. But his decision to join Barrio 18 was also motivated by a deep sense of injustice and despair. Growing up, García Álvarez saw around him how other young people like him fell into the clutches of gangs, trapped in an endless cycle of violence and poverty. For him, joining the Barrio 18 was a way to rebel against a system that seemed to have abandoned him, a way to take control of his destiny and to fight for a place in a world that denied him opportunities. His entry into the Barrio 18 was not only an impulsive decision, but the result of years of frustration and hopelessness accumulated since he was young. García Álvarez had felt the weight of marginalization and exclusion and had reached a point where he felt he had no choice but to join the gang. To survive, it was a difficult and painful choice, but it was also the only way he saw to escape a destiny marked by poverty and violence. What was the crucial moment that led him to the leadership of the gang? The key moment in the rise of García Álvarez came to power through his participation in a confrontation with a rival gang. In this situation, García Álvarez demonstrated exceptional courage and determination, successfully leading his group and earning the respect of his peers and superiors. From this moment on, García Álvarez began to quickly rise through the ranks of Barrio 18, earning a reputation as one of the most powerful gang members in the world. The most promising and respected leaders of the gang, but beyond his ability to lead in conflict situations, what truly distinguished García Álvarez and brought him to power was his ability to inspire loyalty and obedience in his followers. Unlike other leaders of García Álvarez, he did not rule with fear, but with a sense of camaraderie and solidarity that resonated throughout the gang. He was seen as a leader who cared about his people, who was willing to sacrifice himself for the well-being of the group, and who was always a step ahead in protecting their interests. How far did his gang's extortions go? The gang, led by García Álvarez, known as Craftman, extended its extortion reach throughout several areas of the Guatemalan capital and its surrounding areas. Its modus operandi was described as violent and ruthless, with devastating consequences for those who they resisted their financial demands. Tortilla shops, bakeries, stores, and urban transportation companies were the main targets of this gang's extortion. It is estimated that the gang controls an extensive extortion network in several neighborhoods located in different areas of the capital. It is also presumed that García Álvarez orders the collection of gold through intermediaries, generating a climate of widespread fear among business owners and the general population. Authorities were able to identify several people linked to this criminal organization, some of whom are already in prison. However, the capture of García Álvarez and other members of the gang represents a significant blow to their operation, although there is still work to be done to completely dismantle this extortion network. The actions of the security forces have demonstrated their commitment to combating this type of crime. What luxuries did García Álvarez enjoy while he imposed terror? The luxurious life García Álvarez led contrasted with the reality of violence and terror he imposed on those who refused to comply with his demands. He paid high rent for his residence, which included amenities such as wooden stairs, carpeted rooms, high-end audio and video equipment, modern televisions, a fully equipped kitchen, and an exercise machine. This ostentatious life was maintained with money obtained from extortion and criminal activities. Despite his discretion, neighbors noticed García Álvarez's presence in the area due to his vehicle with tinted windows. It is believed that he did not even get out to open the garage door, delegating this task to someone else to avoid being recognized. The thick, dark curtains in his room also indicate that he sought to keep a low profile and avoid contact with neighbors. On weekends, García Álvarez's residence became a center of operations where motorcycles arrived. Delivery women from a carne asada restaurant, possibly used to transport extortion money. Women also arrived in taxis to drop off money, suggesting a well-organized and widespread fundraising network. The day of García Álvarez's funeral, known as El Craftman, will remain etched in the city's collective memory as an event of epic proportions. News of his death spread like wildfire through the city streets, generating a mix of emotions ranging from relief to sadness and fear. As the sun rose over the horizon, illuminating the silhouettes of buildings and streets, the different groups that had been impacted by García Álvarez's life gathered at the cemetery, each with their own reasons and motivations for being there. The Barrio 18 gang members arrived in small groups dressed in their characteristic clothing and with faces were somber, despite García Álvarez's reputation for cruelty. Many of his former gang members felt a deep respect for him, admiring his ability to lead and protect his people. Some even dared to shed tears for the loss of their leader, remembering the days they had fought together in the streets and vowing to continue his legacy. Among them, there were those who still couldn't believe that their feared and respected leader had fallen. Their murmurs filled the air, mingling with the sound of church bells ringing in the distance. Meanwhile, at the other end of the cemetery, a group of police officers watched the scene with expressions of hidden satisfaction. For years, they had pursued García Álvarez and his gang, trying to end his reign of terror. Now, with his death, they felt they had done their duty and protected the city from danger. Imminent. Some even dared to raise a glass in his honor, silently celebrating the end of a dark era. However, among them, there were also those who remembered the lives lost in the CA. The families torn apart by García Álvarez's violence and the wounds that would still take time to heal. In the center of the cemetery, García Álvarez's family gathered around his coffin, visibly affected by the loss of their loved one. Despite García Álvarez's sins and mistakes, they were still his family and remembered him as a loving son and a loyal brother. There were tears and tears, but there was also a sense of relief knowing that the nightmare had come to an end and that now they could begin to heal. García Álvarez's father, an older man with his face furrowed by the wrinkles of time, stood firm beside his son's coffin, his eyes full of pain and pride. It was a moving image that reflected the unconditional love of a father for his son. Even in the darkest moments, as the sun reached from its highest point in the sky, the priest began to recite the final prayers, offering words of comfort and hope to those present as the words echoed in the tranquil air. A sense of calm descended over the cemetery, as if García Álvarez's spirit had finally found the peace he so yearned for in life. At that moment, even the birds fluttering in the nearby trees seemed to stop and listen, as if they too were moved by the power of the priest's words. As the memorial ended, the mourners slowly dispersed, leaving the cemetery silent as the shadows lengthened and the sun set on the horizon. The entire city seemed plunged into a state of introspection and reflection. García Álvarez's death had left a void in the fabric of the community, a grim reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and cruelty, without limits. But it was also a reminder of the human capacity for redemption and change, even in the darkest and most violent places. As the day drew to a close and night fell, a sense of calm spread over the city and hope filled the air. Although the scars left by García Álvarez would never completely disappear, his death marked the beginning of a new chapter for the city, one in which hope and reconciliation could finally flourish. Amidst the darkness, a glimmer of light shone on the horizon, reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, there is always room for redemption and forgiveness. During his capture, García Álvarez showed little remorse for his actions. Despite the evidence against him, he refused to show regret, stating that he was proud of his legacy of violence and death. Today, he is serving a long prison sentence where he faces the ghosts of his past and the consequences of their actions. Their story is a grim reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and boundless cruelty, but it is also a testament to the human capacity for redemption and change, even in the darkest and most violent places. Thus, we come to the end of this video. If you liked it, we invite you to give us a like so we can continue making more videos like this. Also, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. We wish you a great day. Until next time,